Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In this video I'm going to be showing you how I caught this trade right over here as a bottom reversal trade on the S&P 500 for like a 6R with just 2 points of risk, targeting like around 12 points of reward. And I'm gonna go deep dive into why I took it from this area and what the overall analysis behind it and what I used for order flow to get into this trade. So let's get right into it. As always, I share my pre-market plan on X for what I want to look for, and I stated here that I wanted to look for buys and dips to get defended if supply didn't get hit first. So my first dip setup was from 33 to 26, and the second one was from 18 to 08 for dips to get defended. And as you can see, market opened up and we didn't even sweep out any pre-market highs or whatever. So the supply didn't get hit, so it was valid to look for dips that got defended to get in long. And as soon as price opened up, we were stalling a little bit. We weren't really doing anything, consolidating for like 10 to 12 minutes. And then we dipped down into my area where I was looking for. I mean, all of this was in my area. But the most crucial part is where I drew this little pink line over here is a swing low from the pre-market. You can see there's consolidation here, and then there's this low that immediately shot price up. So as soon as that gets manipulated, those reactions give the biggest moves, all right? So I looked for that, and then as soon as it got manipulated, it gave me the right confirmation to get into the trade. And then I targeted personally just high a day here at the 38.50s. But you can target these pre-market highs as well. I wouldn't target the actual pre-market high, but one of these internal highs is completely fine and are usually going to get taken out for an even bigger reward. What else can you use as the confluence? Well, price was all the time supporting VWAP. And another thing is NASDAQ, very interesting. As soon as market opened, NASDAQ shot up and took out pre-market highs, like all pre-market highs that there were. Shot up and took out pre-market highs while the S&P was still hovering around and didn't take even out one single 1 minute pre-market high, and they were just chopping around over here while Nasdaq was already taking out pre-market highs. So if you want to get a good long setup, there's a much better chance that you're going to get a good long setup after this low gets taken out that created that divergence between the Nasdaq and the S&P 500, because Nasdaq's sweeping out pre-market highs and the ES isn't. The ES is just chopping around basically on the day's open. So for a good long setup, that low is probably going to have to be taken out. And that's exactly what happened. Nasdaq shot up, then started going down, sweeping out that low around my time, 341. And as soon as that low got swept, that's where the confirmation for me happened as well. That's also where that swing low from the pre-market got swept. And that's where I got in the trade here at 26.50. Let me show you the confirmation that I saw on the bookmap to get long. So here is the bookmap, and as you can see, we were just chopping around, doing nothing basically, and a whole lot of information, but nothing that you can do anything with really. So we sweep out the low day with a lot of aggressive selling. And let me speed it up a little bit. Keep sweeping out, and then you're gonna see a lot of just sellers getting trapped and not being able to break that low again. All right, so here you can see a lot of aggressive selling, certain bids getting filled right over here, like 4 bids got filled. This one is rebidding. And this here is a perfect confirmation to get long, because as you can see, there's aggressive selling, there's strong buying coming in, and that selling is getting absorbed by all the passive buying. And then as soon as we go back to the low in attempt to break that low again, the sellers are just getting smaller and smaller. Look at that size of that bubble, how small it is compared to the one that created the original sell-off. This is your perfect confirmation to get long here. 26.50, 26.75, 27, depending how fast you are, with a stop loss below the low, and then you just let it ride. See again, look how small the selling is. This is even another confirmation, and that low is just not getting broken, like it's unable to break. And then you just wait for the trade to go up in your direction. At this point you're almost break even. Maybe you can even take a partial, and now it's just flying up. There you go. And our target was here, the 38.50s. And as you can see, like I said, the reactions after those manips of those swing lows. And also in confluence with that, after Nasdaq takes out that low that created the divergence in the first place, is also very crucial. And then another thing to the overall analysis, while I was in the trade of ES, in my pre-market plan on Nasdaq, I said, looks like a sell-off from yesterday is not giving much downside pressure on Nasdaq right now, but I'm still going to be careful if yesterday high gets taken out, as we might get a reversal. And for preparation of this video, I put this line over here already. That was the high of the day before. And as you can see, this was the low where I got in my trade on ES, right over here. And I was in this comfortably. It was going up very quickly as well in my direction. But as soon as Nasdaq took out the day before its high, we immediately got a reversal, as I said in my pre-market plan. And that's what I used as well. While Nasdaq was going up, I was like, I don't want to go for a bigger target. I don't want to go for pre-market highs because Nasdaq is approaching that yesterday high level. And I don't want to get reversed on me and end up with a break even or maybe just a partial. So that's why I went for a closer target, and it played out perfectly because Nasdaq took out yesterday high and then took out low day again. So this trade was very good. I followed my overall analysis, I followed my rules, and as soon as the swing low got manipped, I got the confirmation to get long, as I showed to you on the book map. This was just a very textbook clean bottom reversal confirmation. You get aggressive selling towards your level. They're all getting absorbed by these bids, by passive buying. Aggressive buying is starting to step in, and on the pullbacks that have weaker selling and they're unable to break the low, that's where your sign is to get in, around anywhere around the 26.50s to 27s with a stop loss below the low, and you target anywhere of high a day or some highs above it. And that's just a very clean textbook bottom reversal. But let me show you another trade that happened like half an hour later, after another swing low like this one gets taken out, and just take a look at the reaction that it gives. So here's the swing low where I drew the line. Look at when it manips it and look at the reaction that it gives. Together with, this is where Nasdaq takes it, the exact same place, the exact same time. There was news on this day as well in the pre-market. This is the news candle, this is the bottom of the news wick. And this coincides here at the same time that ES took out that swing low. Here's ES, and he gave a beautiful confirmation as well. Here's ES taking out the swing low. Look at the reaction, taking out pre-market highs, taking out high day. And then look at Nasdaq taking out this news wick low, which is also a swing low. And also, I predicted that in my pre-market plan for Nasdaq. I wanted dips to get defended around 25,030 and 25,000. That's exactly what happened. It came right over here in the middle of my zone, took out the wick and flew up from there. So let me show to you right now the confirmation after taking out another swing low from the pre-market and what and where that reaction came from. So this is the market right beforehand a little bit, and you can see a lot of chop and up and down is going about. And now we're just going to wait for the low day to get taken out and that swing low as well, right over here at the 18s. So this is happening in real time. I sped it up a little bit so the video doesn't take too long. But we want the 18s to get taken out as that swing low, and then we were waiting for our confirmation. So let me just slow it down a little bit and play. So as you can see here, the swing low has been taken out. Market's going pretty aggressive. But now we're just waiting for proper confirmation to get long, right? So we're seeing all of this aggressive selling coming into the market, all of these bids filling, right? And aggressive buying, especially here, is starting to step in. So this area is very, very interesting. And we're gonna watch that for good confirmation if there's gonna happen. So right over here, aggressive selling is starting to step in again. This is not really something you want to step in front of. You want to see weaker selling on the pullbacks and not aggressive selling on the pullbacks. This is great for absorption, but not, for me at least, not great for an entry. I'm not willing to risk going against that aggressive selling. So right over here, you see the selling getting smaller on this pullback, especially smaller than this one. And you can see that bid reappearing again and filling. This is very, very interesting. All of these bids, boom, all the bids keep getting filled and then reappearing. And then as soon as we get down here, another bids get filled and the selling is much, much smaller. So as soon as you see strong buying now, that's a great confirmation to get in, because this level has been tested 3 single times already and has not been breaking down. And the selling is getting smaller now on the third pullback. So this is very good. And I would probably get in right about now. As soon as this buying steps in, this is sped up by the way, so you don't have to get in that fast. But let me show it to you in real time. Let's wait for that last pullback now. And I would just get in as soon as I see weaker selling on that last pullback and strong buying steps in. That's your signal to get in with a stop loss below the low. And let's wait for the pullback. Here we go. It's pulling back. Selling is a little bit weaker. As you can see, it dwindles right over here, small selling. And here you could get in already. This is some strong buying coming in. And boom, there you go. And now this just, as you saw in the chart, that's just a rocket ship that flew up to high a day and then even to pre-market highs. So if you're in here at the 20s and with a stop below the low at 17 with a 3-point stop loss basically. If you're in here with a 3-point stop loss at the 20s, which is a great confirmation, and the 17s with a great stop loss below the low, you're safe. And you're targeting high a day, which is 44 basically. Well, that's a massive trade, and I think that's like 44, that's like 8R, exactly. And then you have an 8R trade that gets hit in 30 minutes or a little bit less even, which is just insane to get an 8R trade. And that's the power of these swing lows that get manipulated, and especially if NASDAQ and ES are moving in tandem and they're both swiping out these swing lows and they're both getting supported by VWAP. Well, ES in this case wasn't, but NASDAQ still was getting supported by VWAP. And then they're both giving the confirmation and they're just moving in tandem. That's when the strongest moves are going to occur. And this is just an overall very good analysis. These swing lows have a lot of power behind them, especially if they're around zones of demand or on top of structure. And especially if the overall trend in the market is uptrending, these are going to work very, very well. And if you can stack these confluences on top of each other with ES and NASDAQ at the same time, well, you're going to get very, very strong moves. And if you can then make your analysis for your take profit together with NASDAQ and ES, that's going to be very profitable. So if you enjoyed this video, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll be sure if there are any questions in the comments to reply to them, or even make a video about it if something is not clear about the analysis or the order flow analysis for the entries. I'll be sure to get to that. So I'll see you in the next video.